Hello there, and welcome to GamePoints episode 150. That's right, we've made it to 150 of these episodes, and today is a very special episode in that we are doing absolutely nothing. We are going to present you with the finest of typical quality that you normally see throughout this show. So, there you go. I'm, as always, your
You want
host,
to redo
David
the
Brown.
intro? Did you fuck it up?
No.
All right, just checking. That's the quality I expect.
Now I fucked it up. I am, as always,
Yes!
your host,
Got
Steven
him!
Brown. Join me today is David Smith over there. Tonight, guys, thank you for showing up already. Tonight, we're going to go over some BlizzCon information, including, yes, you know, that one thing that happened at BlizzCon.
Hell yeah, let's talk about it.
We're going to get into some, in my opinion, corporate overreach, and some other things as we go through some censorship issues. Of course, this being an audience interactive chat, if you're watching us here live at Twitch TV/GamePoints, feel free to join in the conversation. I want to know what you guys think. If you're watching us over at youtube.com/GamePointsPC, leave comments down below and all that good stuff. Regardless of where you're watching us at, like, follow, subscribe, throw bits at. You guys know what every streamer on Earth wants, but never feel like you're obliged to do it. I'm just jazzed to have you all here. David.
I like free video games if anyone's got some of them.
On the topic of free video games, I did just go through the playthrough of Call of Cthulhu. You can watch the live streaming of that on the videos tab over at Twitch. Did it all in the spooky black and white vision. That game was provided by the publisher, so just keep that in mind, but it is a full playthrough if you want to take a look at that. And I will be playing the demo for Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's about a 3-hour long demo. My preview of that should be going up at GameCritics.com any day now, but I want to play through the demo so people can take a look at it as well. All right, let's go ahead and get right into things, unless there's anything else anyone wants to bring up. Of course, remember, this is Audience Interactive, so feel free to join in. Coco for Tacos, Salty Frank, appreciate you guys being in here already. David.
Yeah.
Big thing happened over the weekend. BlizzCon happened over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, BlizzCon. That's a thing that happens every year, I think. And it's
Yeah,
a
almost.
Blizzard event.
I mean, it didn't happen like in 1860 or anything like that, but it's been happening rather consistently for the past few years.
Okay, yeah. And it's when that company, Blizzard, who at some point was bought by Activision, and now they're Activision Blizzard, and their stock is worth a completely ridiculous amount, more than any other gaming company. I think it rose 560% in the last 5 years, if my math is good. Yeah, they had some kind of announcement.
They had a whole bunch of them. So we're going to go over what I think are the highlights of BlizzCon, and then we're going to get to the big elephant in the room. So a couple things first. World of Warcraft Classic. We know what that is. That's essentially pre-Burning Crusade WoW. They've been talking about for a while. That's coming summer 2019. Awesome.
So that's the same WoW that came out in like 2003 or whenever the hell WoW happened?
Yep, and it is going to be included with your Warcraft subscription, so no extra fee. You could just choose to play on that server. Awesome. That's good news, right?
I guess. I don't know. I thought that game was trash then. I'm pretty sure I think it's trash now. But
so
you guys have tons of fun.
Here's the thing about Warcraft Classic, World of Warcraft Classic. I get why people might want it, but there is a lot of nostalgia glasses on when it comes back to that game. Because if you ever
Is it going to look like it did then?
Yeah, I think so. They're going all the way back.
So they're just like literally turning on an old server?
From what I understand, yes.
As long as you're paying your monthly subscription?
Don't quote me on that, but yes.
Man, that's like a Nintendo Classic level of free money.
That's
actually really smart. Good job, guys.
It's one of those things that I think this is something that everyone says they want, but no one actually does. So that's good, though. Good on them. If you're looking forward to that, that is coming with the Warcraft subscription. I was kind of afraid that they might be charging like a separate fee for that stuff, but apparently it's going to be included in paying monthly, so awesome. Other stuff, as chat has already mentioned, specifically Coco for Tacos in there, Destiny 2 is free to claim between now and November 18th. Download it and
worth
it's
it to do that. You have a gift in your Battle.net account or Blizzard whatever app thingy.
Yeah, and
Destiny 2.
I didn't think Destiny 2 was
I've
bad.
heard a bunch of people give this announcement shit, like, oh, there's nothing to do. It's a base version of a game that came out at $60, and yes, it's not the best fucking game ever, but it's also free as shit.
Yeah, and it's not bad.
If you play this game for more than 4 minutes, guess what? That's 4 minutes of free, almost entertainment. You're welcome.
I agree. It
I'm
let's
actually
be
pretty excited
super.
because I know a bunch of people that are downloading it that never played it with me, and I'm probably gonna get back into it just to play with friends. Like,
Yeah,
I'll actually have enough of a crew.
you could look at this cynically and go, well, this is just meant to sell the new expansion. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
That is exactly why they're doing it. But it's a way to breathe in life to a game that's been out for a little while, that's kind of had a floundering fan base, and I'm totally fine with this. This is cool. I like this. It's a way to get people back into it.
Yeah, I have trouble getting really mad at, like, here's a game that's suddenly free and it's multiplayer and it's got co-op and it's got not bad shooting in it. I don't know if anyone's played it, but the shooting's
I'm glad you
decently
threw in that
solid.
extra little caveat at the end there, because there is a game that I can say that I'm mad at that has all those except the good shooting. But we'll talk about that very soon.
All right.
The most impressive announcement to me, the one that has me the most hyped up, is the Warcraft 3 Reforged. This is the full remastering of Warcraft 3, one of the greatest single player RTS campaigns of all time, and
One
it's
of
not
the
just
greatest cinematic RTS intros of all time.
absolutely too, and it's not just a remaster. They're going back and redoing all the character models too, so it looks real goddamn good. They are already taking pre-orders on that, despite us not knowing what's coming out other than 2019. So
You can play it again.
that is something I've been thinking of actually playing through that again. So I'm glad to see
Man,
that coming.
they're remastering Warcraft 3, so was the next announcement that they were going to remaster Diablo 2? Because that'd be a good idea.
All right, let's get into this. And then during the keynote, they ended
With a cinematic trailer for
with
a new Diablo game.
yeah, they came out. They said, "Hey, we have a new Diablo game coming," and they kind of built it up a little bit. Fans' hypes were getting a little aroused. People know that Diablo 4 is on the plate somewhere. And then he starts talking about mobile connectivity, and then you can kind of hear the audience go dead silent. And then they announced Diablo Immortal.
Diablo Immortal?
Diablo Immortal.
Sorry, making a joke.
It is supposed to be. Go ahead.
There's a mobile Diablo game. It's being partnered with those NetEase guys. They helped work on that Lineage mobile game.
I didn't know that, but there's a whole bag of shit with the NetEase guys here in a second too, which we'll get into, I'm sure.
And people weren't enthused, I guess is the nicest way to put it. It was not as bad, I think, as the Artifact announcement.
Not at first. Not at first.
It got worse.
Yes.
But the actual announcement, like that initial, here's what it is, wasn't the awe of 1,000 people being depressed at once.
It was just dead silent. And then they had like the Q&A after, right? Because this is what ended the keynote. I think it's important to note that this is what ended Blizzard's keynote conference. This was supposed to be the big thing.
Idea.
And then they had that Q&A.
Oh,
and this is where the controversy really kicked in. And I can not to do the whole both sides thing here, but I can see both sides of this argument. But I lean on the gamers on this debate.
You go for the gamer side. Let's hear it.
You had some legitimate people sounding just depressed, like that poor guy who sounded like he was absolutely crestfallen when he's like, one of the Q&A guys was saying, is there any chance of this being on PC? Like, you could see he was like, please throw me a bone. And the gentleman on stage says, no, we're committed to mobile only. But then he fucking smarts off and says, what, do you guys not have phones? In the most tone-deaf response possible that he could have had said there. And then you had the more assholey comments, like the guy in the red shirt who came up and said, hey, is this a late season April Fool's joke? And I could see why that could be taken as like a snarky comment, and it was, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not like he was throwing shit, like a bunch of shit at developers. It's a little bit of shit, but not a lot. And I think that is where things started getting out of hand, because then you started having the games media, not all of them, not all, but you had a bunch of prominent members in the media going, oh, look at this fucking entitled gamer, and look how dare they question Blizzard, and how dare they throw shit at the developers, who at the time are acting as the public face of the company. So who else are you gonna bitch to? And then you had people like I don't want to mention their names because I don't want to send brigading out there, but you had one person saying if you hate mobile games, you fucking hate women. And then someone else saying he blames Trump for this entitled gaming mentality. And then it spiraled way out of control.
Wait.
Okay.
I'll let you try and slide that, but he didn't actually say if you hate mobile games, you hate women.
I will read you
direct fucking quote.
I will read you his
from
quote.
Will Power's Twitter.
I didn't want to mention his name, but go ahead.
Here's a hot take. The people that bash on mobile gaming are an offshoot of toxic masculinity. They get off on hating something that they've traditionally associated with a heavily female audience.
How is that not saying that if you hate mobile games, you hate women? I am paraphrasing, to be fair.
You are heavily paraphrasing.
But that is the gist of what he is saying. That is the gist of what he is saying, though. That is absolutely the gist of what he is saying.
You could say that. You can also say that he's comparing the idea of a toxic culture that automatically rejects something as comparable to toxic masculinity.
No, that's not what he's saying. The people that bash on mobile gaming, aka, and he's referring specifically to the people at the BlizzCon event who are upset that Diablo is trying to be on mobile. He is saying that they are an offshoot of toxic masculinity and they get off on hating something because women like it, which is as far from the fucking point as you possibly can be.
He then later goes on, if you keep going down his Twitter, to explain it as the people that have this mindset share a mindset with these other people. But it's fine. We'll just say that he says that if you hate women, you hate mobile games and vice versa. Because that's what Steven wants you to hear.
That is what he said. I am telling you what he said.
Reading isn't hard.
I'm fucking reading it, dude. Come on.
It's also my job to piss him off, so we can keep going.
We can't agree, though, that the other guy, whose name I'm not going to mention, actually just straight up say, I blame Donald Trump for the rhetoric of the Blizzard community.
There absolutely was a guy that just legitimately blamed Donald Trump, and I have no comeback for that because he tagged the motherfucker.
So, by the way, I see you guys in chat. I appreciate what's going on. Yes, introspect. There was another controversy where, like, the cinematic trailer for Diablo Immortal was getting downvoted all to hell. And there is rumors that they have been deleting comments and downvotes and re-uploading the video so it resets the like ratio to it. But none of that can actually be confirmed. I wanted to make that 100% clear. Is it likely that's happening? Yeah, that could be happening. It could also just be as likely that this is in relation to YouTube removing all the Google Plus bullshit from there, and that's causing havoc amongst a whole bunch of channels rather. And everyone is having these problems right now. So it's a little disingenuous to say that Blizzard is 100% for sure doing that. But it's possible. I'm going to count that into the more rumor side of things rather than saying, hey, this is for sure what they're doing. Just keep that in mind. And then, I mean, to make matters worse, back to the NetEase thing, it looks like this game, someone put footage side by side by another NetEase game, and it looks like it's just a clone of that game with a different reskin on there. And that game that NetEase made that this might be a reskin of was a clone of something else. And NetEase is known for being super pay to win in a lot of their shit. So the entire thing went from, okay, this isn't received well, there's a little bit of a fire here, to some in the games media just fucking throwing gasoline on that fire, because I've never seen an industry hate their fucking audience more than some of these people in the games press. And it just, and Blizzard didn't handle it well either, especially with the you have phones, don't you, right? And it spiraled way out of control. So, what do you think, David? What's your takeaway from all this? And if you're in chat, let me know what your takeaway is as well. And I'll after David makes his comments and what he feels about it, I'll address some people in chat.
You know what the funny part is? I get that this announcement was done poorly. I get that this shouldn't have been the final keynote damn announcement of the show. They handled the backlash bad. They shouldn't have had a goddamn Q&A. They should have just thrown up a screen at the end that said D4 and then closed the show. Like turned the lights
Exactly.
off and kicked everybody out because we all know what's coming. But of everything they actually announced at the conference, here's my hot take. This is the only fucking one that I'm going to play. I don't give a shit about WoW Classic. I couldn't give two shits about like the WoW or Warcraft 3 remaster. I already have Destiny 2, and yeah, I like playing games on my phone sometimes because when I'm stuck at work, I can't bring a Switch with me. I just can't. I don't have that kind of job, but I can bring a phone because I have to. And I played a whole lot of that Lineage mobile game.
Yeah, you were into that for a while.
This game looks real similar with a Diablo skin. And yes, sure, it's a reskin. Sure, it's got some pay-to-win nonsense, but it's also going to be free, and I guarantee I'll be able to sink 10 to 20 hours in this without spending any money, and I will have a great time.
So, a reasonable take. Let me look at chat real quick, and then I will go on what I think could have just solved all this. One, are we going to get a mobile auction house? You know, Salty Frank, I always felt that Blizzard reluctantly...
Skins and time sinks.
Yeah, Blizzard reluctantly removed the auction house, and they've been trying to find a way to monetize that franchise for a while now, and this is the way they can do it. Fuse911, thank you for joining up in chat. I appreciate it. What if they ported Diablo 2 to mobile? Do you think that would have been received? No, because mobile game, it's not that Diablo is on mobile. I mean, that's a big thing. The problem is just mobile gaming in general has a rightfully earned reputation of being either predatory, chock full of predatory microtransactions,
It wants all your money,
pay to
or it
win.
wants the money of whales.
Yeah, exactly. It has a rightfully earned reputation of being ass. And it could have been any kind of mobile game, and people would have gone after this hard again. Fuse911, good to see you again. And yeah, sorry, I'm trying to read chat as well as read stuff.
Shit.
And
all right, hold on.
Yeah.
Minor backtrack on my hot take. I don't know how to read titles. Netmarbles, who made the Lineage phone game, not NetEase. I am cautiously pessimistic about this new phone game.
Fair enough.
My bad.
So this is one of those situations that any mobile game would have pissed people off. And this entire thing could have been avoided if they just would have done
it earlier.
Well,
they threw up a D4 trailer.
Yeah, if the show would have ended on, hey, Diablo 4 is coming. Here's a quick teaser, which was what was rumored to be announced by Jason Schreier. Jason Schreier said sources told him that Blizzard pulled at the last second this trailer, but then Blizzard came out and said, no, that didn't happen. And it's rare for Blizzard to actually comment on rumors and speculation, so that's been kind of killed, so we have no idea what's going on there. What really lit the fire on this, though, wasn't even the announcement at BlizzCon. It wasn't the mishandling of the game itself, because this also could have been avoided if they just did what Bethesda did when they go, hey, here's a mobile Elder Scrolls game, but here's also Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield at the end. What really...
Like literally just a title screen. We don't even need anything.
It wasn't even...
fucking nuts.
It wasn't even the whole entitled gamer thing. And I will admit, the guy in the red shirt, he was kind of an ass. That was kind of a dick question to ask. That was kind of a dick question to ask. What really fucking fired up this conversation is when a few jackasses in the games press decided to turn this into a culture war issue. When they came out and said shit like, this is Trump's fault. And that is all it took for this to go from a story that we won't even be talking about a week from now into some shit that is going to be around for a month. Because now it's not even about the game anymore. Because I'm totally fine with this game existing. There are some people who are like, no, I don't want this game to exist at all. Okay, fine. That's your call. I'm fine with this game existing. But now that it's been made into a culture war issue, this fucking ongoing thing, the politicization of fucking everything, now it has legs. And now people are going to be fucking bashing each other over the head on this non-goddamn stop. And that's what pisses me off about the whole thing. This was just like okay, that sucks, whatever, move on. But now it's become political currency. And fuck that. Anyways,
Uh,
yeah,
Everyone's dumb. Everything's ridiculous. At some point, D4 will come out, and no one will give a shit about this story.
there were so many points where this story could have been de-escalated. So many.
They just didn't.
Blizzard could have showed a trailer. The guy shouldn't have asked the question. The response shouldn't have been, you have a phone. The people writing about it shouldn't have fucking thrown it just at any...
They should have just done the awkward EA get the fuck off the stage move.
Exactly.
Where,
at
they go
any
really hard on something that no one cares
step.
about, and they're just like... and then they just walk away.
At any step along the way, this could have been de-escalated quickly. But it wasn't. And Activision's taking over it. Last time I checked, I think they said that Activision Blizzard stock was down 8% because of this. So, message received. And I will side with the gamers on this one. I get why you guys are pissed. You can see any number of videos on YouTube breaking down why you're pissed off about it. And that is what should have been reported on, not the you hate mobile so you hate women bullshit. And I still stand by that's what he meant. Anyways, let us know what you guys think about this whole Diablo Immortal situation. I know people are pissed, but did gamers overreact? Are gamers way too entitled on this? There's only some of them. Do you think that Blizzard really fucked up and they need to be called out in the copyright on it? Let me know in the comments and chat down below as we move on to our next topic. David, why don't you go ahead and lead this one off for us? This is also really... This would have been my lead rant if it wasn't for the Diablo thing.
Also, to be fair, yes, their stock dropped a bunch, but all it really did was drop to the pre-BlizzCon levels.
Yeah, well, like you said, when your stock rises 500% over 10 years...
They're going to shrug this off because it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, if you look at their stock over the week, it looks bad, but if you look at their stock over the year, it's a drop in the bucket. But there was a fluctuation. It did have an impact.
Yeah, for sure. There you go. But in other news, there was I don't know, interesting, I guess we can call it interesting. There was a story posted on Variety. The game site TI Media, or who's the actual site? Because TI Media just owns it.
Trusted Reviews.
Trusted Reviews. Had to apologize to Rockstar and Take-Two for a Red Dead Redemption 2 leak. They ran a story based on Red Dead Redemption 2, and because they ran this story, they had to apologize and donate £1 million to charities chosen by Take-Two Games. In a quote, on February 6, 2018, we published an article that was sourced from a confidential corporate document, according to the post that hit the site Thursday afternoon. We should have known this information was confidential and should not have published it. We unreservedly apologize to Take-Two Games, and we have undertaken not to repeat such actions again. So, short version, a company whose job it is to report gaming-related news got a document somewhere from Take-Two that gave them some gaming-related news, and they posted it, but they got in trouble. Am I on the right track?
Yes, and what bothers me is...
Now, they have to donate £1 million to charities because what they reported wasn't supposed to be reported, but they had that news, and their job is to report the news.
There's something really sinister about this bullshit. And my problem with it is, there are two things. One, this is a UK-based publication. So they fall under a completely different set of laws, and I can only look at this through an American lens. But I look at this and I see, how the fuck is Trusted Reviews responsible for publishing a leak that one of Take-Two's employees did? I don't care if the information was stolen. They didn't steal it. But apparently in Britain, and by no means am I an expert, barely on US law, let alone UK law, apparently in England, if you can't verify where the source came from, you can't prove that you yourself didn't steal it, and as such, you're at fault because they work on some weird guilty before innocent fucking clause in this case. I don't know what the deal is there. But I have a big fucking problem with a multi-billion dollar, I think, at least $1 million company being able to sue a press outlet for leaking details about a fucking video game. I have a big problem with that. If Take-Two wants to cut off their access, so be it. If they want to blacklist them like Bethesda has with Kotaku, so be it. But when you actively sue them for $1 million for releasing information about your fucking video game, there's a problem there. And I don't care that it was donated to charity. Let me just make that 100% clear right fucking there. This was not them going, oh, well, hey, look how gracious we are by donating to charity. No, this was Take-Two being fucking punitive against a games website. And no, Coco for Tacos, it was not just given to charity. Take-Two came in and said, you can either go to court over this or we can settle out of court on this. Now, one thing we don't know is, did Trusted Reviews break like an NDA? Because if they broke an NDA, that's a completely different ball of wax. But from what I understand here, multiple game sites were given this information, but none of them could verify where it came from. Oh, yeah, Cook for Tacos. It was, from what I understand, the information came from an anonymous email from an employee at Take-Two. Or an email from an anonymous employee at Take-Two saying, hey, here's all this information about the upcoming game. Just so you know, all this is in there. And a lot of sites got it. Many of them chose not to run it. But Trusted Reviews went, okay, well, we'll see what this shakes out. And when details started to come out about the game publicly that matched with what they saw, they ran the rest of the article. They ran the rest of the details. And Take-Two fucking threatened to sue them for it, and they had to settle off court. That is such a problem for me, because how are they responsible for Take-Two's internal security?
Also, with some quick and dirty Googling, a company worth $13.5 billion sued a company worth $140 million.
Because
for leaking something that the $13.5 billion company couldn't protect.
Yeah, fuck that. This has such a... there's such a chilling effect of this.
It's just weird because at no way does... there's got to be like some kind of law that they have to do. I mean, this reminds me of when Bethesda like sued Mojang over scrolls because they had to protect scrolls. Like, there's probably some weird ass law, maybe in the UK, that we have no idea about, that if they didn't actually follow through on some kind of lawsuit, then their shit's not protected under that law. Who knows?
Then you do the symbolic dollar.
Really weird. But yeah. That's just ridiculous.
And the statement later blows that theory out of the water, because at the very bottom here, Take-Two issued a statement to Variety saying, Take-Two takes security seriously, and we will take legal action against people or publications who leak confidential information. What fucking right do I take legal action against publications who leak confidential information? They don't fucking work for you, bro. They're not your extension of a PR firm. Like I said, if you signed an NDA, that is one thing. If some random employee gives me information from your company, that's between you and that employee, not the publication. This is fucked up.
Man, I'm going to make friends with a Take-Two employee just to see if I can get information on something that they do and see if we can get sued for a bunch of money.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds real fun.
We can give them all of our bits.
I will absolutely say this. If I had this information, even knowing this now, I would still fucking run it. Fuck that. Yeah. Try that shit in America.
If you're in the gaming news and you get gaming news, you should report the gaming news. I don't get it.
Yeah, Coco for Tacos, that's exactly what this is. This was Take-Two trying to make an example out of someone, and that's my biggest problem with it, is that now you have other, like, smaller sites are going to go, I can't fucking afford to leak this information despite I know it's good. Fuck them. And Take-Two is known for being extremely litigious.
Well, they didn't come by that $13 billion on accident.
It's just, and once again, let me reiterate, I don't fucking care that this was donated to charity. I know the lot of comments are going, well, it's good that was donated to charity. Fuck that. No, it's not good that it was donated to charity. Fuck that. That is a non sequitur with me. It's a non-starter.
It's also a news publication gave some charities £1 million, whereas at any point Take-Two could give a bunch of charities $100 million and they wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, exactly. This is
they could give away these other guys' net worth.
Yeah, just flat out and write it off on their taxes.
And it wouldn't even matter. They would make it up in like a week's worth of shark cards from Grand Theft Auto 5.
So there has to be some weird UK law. From what I understand, it's because they didn't verify who gave them the information, so they can't prove that they themselves didn't steal it, which is so fucked up to me. Because that is literally guilty before. That is you being accused of something and having to prove that you didn't do it. which is like the opposite of how that's supposed to work. So yeah, fuck Take-Two on this one. This is such a... I wanted to bring this up because this is such a bad precedent-setting move that will freeze any kind of things like this when it comes to Take-Two specifically. It's so fucking bad, and that's the point. They're trying to scare other outlets, and fuck that. That's so, like... It's so fucked up. And like I said, this would, if it wasn't for the Diablo thing, this would have been like the story, because I am so fucking passionate about this one specifically, especially when it comes to like freedom of the press and stuff. It's just, it is mind-boggling to me that they're able to get away with this.
It's like your mind's trapped in a bottle.
Yeah, and I know some people are going to be like, well, it was a settlement. It's like, no shit, it was a settlement, because if they didn't settle, even if Take-Two loses, they can wrap this company up in legal problems for like years and years and years.
Oh, that'd make them go under in legal fees.
Yeah, I shit you not. Take-Two is extremely litigious.
Yeah, if you get sued by Take-Two, just like, I don't know, run.
They are muscling their way to get what they want. And I will cap all of this off by saying allegedly. So fuck off.
The official GamePoints slogan.
Allegedly.
We bring it out, of course, on episode 150.
Take-Two sacrifices infants to their dark gods to make Red Dead Redemption 2 sell a lot of copies. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Sources say that I can't remember the Take-Two CEO's name. I think his name was Mike Zelenek. I was going to say something really crass, and I don't remember what it was now.
That's okay. We don't need like just cut up bits of shit you say on the internet. We got enough of that.
Anyways, that's...
Oh boy.
Take a look at the Friday arc. Look into this. It's so confused. There's got to be some law, and I tried to find it. I absolutely tried to find it. I couldn't find it. So something to consider if you're bored and want to know what this is about, is looking that up. And please let me know if you guys know what the exact law or reasoning behind this is. Please let me know in the chat and comments down below.
Well,
David,
should change the topic. We should talk about something else. Let's talk about something more happy. You know what your favorite thing is?
Censorship. And censorship is hitting Rainbow Six Siege, unfortunately. Now,
Ubisoft, what's up, guys? Are we just gonna censor this game you like? That's cool.
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege is about to make its big debut in China, and as such, they have to comply with local Chinese laws. And many of those laws require them to change some of the aesthetics in the game. And you can see some of this right here. It is, of course, light off a firestorm of people claiming censorship and how dare you do this, etc. And I'm going to be upfront with you guys right now. It's a losing battle, and I'll explain why at the end of this story. So, from the Ubisoft blog post right here, aesthetic changes in Year 3, Season 4 for Rainbow Six. A single global version. We want to explain why these changes are coming to the global version of the game as opposed to branching and maintaining two parallel builds. And they go on with a bunch of text speak about why they're doing this. But what they are doing...
Because it's easier.
What they're doing is the following. You can see how they're changing icons, melee icon into a fist, from a knife into a fist, getting rid of the skull imagery, friendly fire icons changing. They're also changing a lot of the maps. For example, you have
no death, sex, or gambling.
Yeah. So, image of the skull getting replaced with an image of a man with a mask on. Slot machines taken out. Blood removed. At least the big blood spatter removed. The neon stripper pole being replaced with this hand here. And the whole point of this is to comply...
That's a sexy hand, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
really.
It is.
It's very provocative.
The whole point of this is to comply with Chinese law so they can sell it in China. David, what are your thoughts about this?
I think they're going to make a shit ton of money.
Exactly.
I think they have investors. I think they're French, and I think they're going to do this. And there's not fuck all, you, me, or the entire population of America banded together under one universal truth, that is keep Rainbow Six 60, is going to do to stop them.
Exactly. And that's why I say you guys can be rightfully pissed off about this. I'm not happy about it either. I hate the fact that they are doing this, but at the end of the day, there are 300. It comes down to numbers. There are 360 people in the United States. Even
360.
That's 360 million in the United States. And even if every single one of us stood up and said, we don't want this, it is not enough to overcome the 1 billion people in China that they could reach with this. Sorry, it's just pure math.
Because all billion people in China can't wait to play Rainbow Six.
I'm using the maximum numbers possible on this to get my point across.
I know. statistics, they still win. They got
The
a lot of
the
population.
Chinese market is too big for them not to this, and if it means alienating,
That's why half the movies you watch nowadays have a scene where they're in China.
Yeah.
Or lots of explosions and special effects because
that's what sells in
well
China. That's why Red Dawn became China taking over to North Korea taking over.
But yeah,
They
I also
could
get why they
lose-
wouldn't want to manage 2 builds of the same game. They could just patch it and push everything through, and the only difference is the language that's applied.
And let's be honest here. The vast majority of people who are playing Rainbow Six are going to bitch about this for a couple days and then keep playing Rainbow Six. So even if they were to alienate the entire U.S. population base,
the core gameplay,
Yeah.
which in my opinion is still what makes video games fun.
like I said, you can hate it, you can scream and kick and all you want about it, but at the end of the day, this is one of those losing battles that you need to focus your attention on something else on. And I hate it. I hate this shit. I can't stand it. But what you gonna do on this one other than not play the game? And it is, see, yeah, Coco Tacos, you're saying that you understand companies saving money, but alienating your core Lord user base. Your core and Lord user base in America is nothing compared to what they could be reaching in China with. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Also, who gives a shit about your core base? We should ask Blizzard what they think.
Have you seen the meme going around of the Scooby Doo?
Or anything EA's done in the last 5 years?
I was gonna say, have you seen the Blizzard Activision Scooby Doo meme going around?
No.
Take a look at it. I'm not gonna describe a meme on the air, but it's good. And yeah, exactly,
Okay.
Coco Tacos. Either way, you're gonna keep playing it. That's just it, right? Either way, people are gonna keep playing it. So this it's a losing fight. I get people are upset. I'm upset over it too, but we need to focus on something else. This is a fight that was lost before it even began, and that sucks. But you're not winning this one. Even if, once again to reiterate, even if every single player in North America stopped playing, the potential marketplace of China outweighs all of that. Just flat out. It's a matter of numbers. They have more. It's like that scene from Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
David.
Are they feeling fear? I'm not paying attention. I'm looking at chat.
Lead us down with our last news story this week. And this is actually good news. I'm actually really excited for this.
Yeah, I'm actually finally going to play this video game that came out on a console that I don't own, that I have no intention of ever owning because I own a PC. And it turns out that we, in a story from Gematsu, have seen an ESRB rating for Sunset Overdrive. Oh yes, one of the 3 Xbox exclusive games of all time coming to PC. Yeah, the ESRB has rated the Insomniac Games developed open world action adventure game Sunset Overdrive for PC. The new rating follows a PC rating from the Game Rating and Administration Committee of Korea back in May. This is that like really stylish open world cartoony looking game
Done by Insomniac, who you might know as the guys who made the excellent Spider-Man game that just came out.
Yeah,
So
I never played it. I thought it looked interesting.
I'm really excited for this.
Hopefully it's cheap.
Salty Frank, you said a game that you found incredibly boring personally. Fair enough. I absolutely get that. I loved Sunset Overdrive. I didn't finish it. I played it for about an hour and a half over at a friend's house when it first came out. I am super excited this game's getting a second shot at life because I felt it was really good. The game played very, very well, and it actually made me laugh multiple times. It very much breaks the fourth wall. Spoilers for a 3-year-old game. There's a scene where you're going to get out of the infected town with this guy who built an airplane, and as you're flying out of the town, he notices something's wrong and pushes you out the last second because he realizes that you're about to hit the invisible wall of the game. And he crashes into it and dies.
So stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. It is not serious at all. At all. Not even the slightest. But it is entertaining. If you go into it knowing what kind of game you're going to get, I think it's really cool. Coco for Tacos, thank you for coming by. I'll catch you next time.
But yeah, is after this game jumps to PC, are there any other games that are actually exclusive to the Xbox that are left? That you have to have an Xbox to play, period.
I mean, Halo? But there are PC Halo games, but I don't think any of the new Halos are slated to be on PC. I don't know. Was Halo 6 meant to be on PC? The upcoming Halo 6.
Dude, that's probably not even gonna be on this console gen.
Halo Guardians is Xbox One only. The Forza. No, the Forza games are PC as well. Shit.
Yeah, I'm like been playing Forza Horizon 4 for like the last month on my PC.
Gears, but they haven't really made a Gears recently either. But then again, Microsoft hasn't really made any. Not to bash on Microsoft too hard. They haven't really made any games over the past couple years or so.
Anyway, that's the joke. That last little holdout, it's coming to PC anyway.
Yeah.
Where it has a chance of sales.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I want Sunset Overdrive to do really good. I would like to see a sequel to that game. But either way, David, Sunset Overdrive for PC, you know, I was about to say probably won't come out for a while, but I get the feeling you might actually see it within the next couple of weeks or so. But either way, that's not this week. If I wanted to play shit this week, what new games do I have to look forward to?
Honestly, just keep playing Red Dead.
Fair enough.
Red Dead came out, and that's a game that exists. And basically, I wouldn't pay attention to new releases anytime between here and, I don't know, February 22nd. But I guess I'll talk about it anyway. Coming out this week, there's some nonsense, some more nonsense, and something interesting. There's a new Leisure Suit Larry game coming to PC.
Say it subtitle.
Wet Dreams Don't Dry.
Thank you.
It's $30. It's made by no one I've ever heard of. Leisure Suit Larry is a product of a bygone age and doesn't really need to be here. Who the fuck wants this game? Who gives a shit about Leisure Suit Larry? Better yet, whoever gave a shit about Leisure Suit Larry? Moving on. Overkill.
To be fair,
comes out to PC this
the
week.
early Leisure Suit Larry games, and I mean like the early Sierra text adventure-esque games, like
1988,
from 1988 to like like in the early 90s when Al Lowe was still writing them. That shit had some very funny humor in it.
All right, maybe it was funny once. I doubt this game will be funny.
Fair enough.
If you really cared, though, you go to town.
No, I don't give a goddamn. I was actually given I was actually offered the opportunity to review this game, and I was like, no.
No, I don't want to have to play that. Also coming out this week, Overkill's The Walking Dead for PC. Overkill, if you're not aware, are those kids that made that their Payday game. I think they also published Dead by Daylight, but don't quote me on that. This is a 4-player co-op action FPS set in the Walking Dead universe, where you'll fight the dead as well as the living. There's other survivors, and you have to fight them sometimes, which looks to be less fun than fighting zombies. You and your group try and survive in a post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. I'm kind of into it just because it's 4-player co-op survival from the Payday crew, and I really, really liked Payday 2. The problem is, at some point, that franchise kind of screwed itself and became so fucking microtransaction heavy that I stopped playing it
guy,
completely.
microtransactions, he just ruins everything.
It like Overkill is a company that just decided they hated their fans and instead wanted all of their money. And I have trouble even recommending. I know they've changed stuff, but I can't recommend anything they do. There's also the fact that this game looks to be running on the same damn engine, and it's $60.
So, a couple things.
I don't know enough about it. It could be amazing. It could be totally worth it. It could have the whole game built in and free DLC and yada yada, but I doubt it. So, don't hold your breath.
So, a couple things that you mentioned. Overkill was gobbled up by Starbreeze. Starbreeze published Dead by Daylight. So the Overkill guys and Dead by Daylight only share the fact that they're both connected to the same publisher, but they're not developed by the same teams at all. Dead by Daylight had a spiritual successor called Identity 5, developed by NetEase, to lead us back to that conversation right there. Also, do you know who has a big holding of NetEase?
No.
Tencent.
Oh.
Tencent owns 25% of Activision.
Yeah.
So there's the connection between that right now. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm like gonna wait and see on that game. Who knows? It could be amazing, but I don't know. I liked Payday a lot, but I don't want to get too excited about this. Who knows what we're gonna look at? Steel Rats is coming out for PC, Xbox One, and PS4. This game looks a lot like the Trials games in that you're a motorcycle and it's vaguely platformy, but it also has combat and a weird post-modern apocalyptic vibe. Retro future? I don't know. You're like a dude on a Harley and you ride around on the Harley and you kill bad guys while moving to the right.
No, always to the right. Do you move in a circle to the right, or is it just moving always?
Sometimes you'll go on the roof.
Okay.
And then come back.
Okay.
So that's
something.
That's fun. Also coming out this week, we have World of Final Fantasy Maxima for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
So
look at all those things it's coming out on.
What the hell is this?
World of Final Fantasy is a game that came out a while ago, and it is the chibi super mashup Final Fantasy game that takes all the different Final Fantasy characters, some of which you love, some of which you don't, throws them all in a game together, makes the art style something I cannot stand for the life of me, and adds in a bunch of weird things where some of the character models look like they're characters from Kingdom Hearts, where they're kind of anime-looking, kind of realistic. Other ones are like tiny porcelain dolls with giant eyes and the weird haired giant head thing.
The chibi style. Think like Funko Pop.
Yes. Half the characters look like Funko Pops. The other half look like they're from Kingdom Hearts. I have no idea what's going on, but this is a DLC for it called Maxima. It requires the base game to play. And if you have that, you can play this. But let's get to what I think is actually the most important release of this week. Something that I'm legitimately excited for, and I can't wait to play in VR. Tetris Effect comes out for PS4 this week.
I'm super excited for this too.
I have actually played Tetris Effect, and it's fucking awesome. It's Tetris on crack. It could be honestly
it's Tetris brought to you by the guy who made Rez.
Yes, and Lumines.
Yes.
It could honestly be the greatest version of Tetris ever made. It is a game that explores the Tetris effect, which is when you have a bunch of people to play Tetris for too long, you go to sleep seeing images of the game because it's a goddamn thing that's been studied and proven.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've experienced it firsthand.
And it's a game that's kind of built with that in mind, so it's almost like a surreal version of Tetris. You kind of need to see it, and if you have a VR headset, you really need to see it. I think there's a demo out there that you can get, and it's worth it just to live in that Tetris world for a minute. So, yeah, of everything coming out this week, this is the one I'm actively
I'll be picking this up and playing it in VR. I really want to take a look at it. It looks gorgeous.
There's also about 40 different tiny games coming out to Switch because that's what always happens every week. A couple other things that we're not really getting super into, like I think Brawlhalla comes out on Switch this week, and I don't know, there's like a DLC for.
I know Brawlhalla comes out. I want to say Valiant Hearts comes out. Actually, I do want to check that. Valiant Hearts.
Crashlands is on Switch. I think on Friday, and actually a game I'm kind of interested in, Mercenaries Wings False Phoenix, which is a tactical RPG.
Switch. I'm checking to see if this game's actually coming out on Switch, but I'm not seeing it popping up either way. If Valiant Hearts,
you don't like any of those and you want to go back a week, I can tell you that on our last show, I have to apologize because one of the most important Switch releases of all time came out, and I neglected to mention it, and that's my fault. I'm sorry, but I saved it for episode 150, and if you have a Switch, you can hop on that Nintendo eShop and get yourself a damn copy of Wheel of Fortune, because that shit is on there. You're welcome. What's wrong, bro? You more of a Jeopardy guy? They got that too. Anyway, this has been GamePoints episode 150. Join us every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we do this nonsense and talk about gaming news. I am not your host. That's actually going to be that guy. I think he's over there, Stephen Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at CapitalistPig21. My name's David. You can follow me at Palshive_Satori, but don't, because I don't tweet ever. Do you got any nonsense to add, bro?
Yes, a couple things. If you like the show here, of course, you can like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We are Audience Interactive, as I mentioned a couple times before, and we do stream live every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at twitch.tv/GamePoints. Drop on by, join the conversation, much like Coco Tacos did, Introversion, Salty Frank. Appreciate having you all guys here. However, if you can't join us live, completely understandable. You can catch all of our old shows over at youtube.com/GamePointsPC. And by all of our shows, I mean almost all of our shows. Some of them don't quite make it up there at times. Regardless of where you're watching us at, you know what every streamer wants: like, subscribes, bits, followers, etc. But never feel like you have to do so. I'm just jazzed to have you here. If you like the show itself, you can follow it at GamePointsPC on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at the places that David subscribed earlier. And that wraps things up. Oh! No stream tomorrow because I am an 80-year-old man and I will be watching my equivalent of the Super Bowl and the Oscars combined, because I fucking love American politics, and I'll be watching the election results coming in on like 5 different TVs, because I am a nut job and I get off on this stuff.
He doesn't own 5 TVs, just so you guys know.
However, I do own 5 TVs.
They're not all in the same room.
No, they're not in the same room.
And you don't have that kind of time.
However, the stream will return Wednesday with me streaming the demo of Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden. If you want to take a look what that game is, it's been erroneously called Duck XCOM. I like to think of it more as Duck Wasteland. You can take a look at that this Wednesday at 9 p.m. here at this channel, Twitch TV/GamePoints, for a live presentation of that demo. Run about 3 hours. We'll play for the whole thing, and then we'll call it a night after that. And we're going to call it a night right now. A little bit of an early show because there just wasn't too much information. Thank you all for dropping by. This has been GamePoints, and until next week, we're out of here.